So good afternoon, Kualito Nali. I just wanted to say thank you for being with us. Also, for those of you that are here in this space, as well as those that will be watching this afterwards, we are grateful that you have been able to save some of your time and energy for us and to be in conversation with us. So as I just shared a little bit earlier, this will be largely an informal space to for us to gather and to build community together, for us to introduce ourselves. Um, Na no toca Samuel Torres ni Mexica iwan ni Nawa. My name is Sam Torres. I'm Mexica and Nawa Nanehuali, Los Angeles, California, Iwan El Paso, Texas, Iwan Zacatecas, Mexico. And I was born and raised in Los Angeles, California. Um, I have relatives and my family. Of course, most of my relatives are in Los Angeles, but and in El Paso, Texas. But most of my family is from Zacatecas, Mexico. I'm an indigenous Mexican, Mexica, Nawa, and currently live here in St. Paul, Minnesota. And I currently serve NABS as the Deputy Chief Executive Officer, as well as Standing Director of the Oral History programs at NABS. So it's an honor to be in this space with you all today. Um, before we move on to our agenda, I'd love to do a little circle of just introductions so that we can all get to know each other a little bit. It's our intention for you all that are joining us today to learn a little bit about who we are, a little bit about our intentions with coming to visit you all, and I'll open up the opportunity for folks to be in discussion and dialogue with us. So with that, I'll just who's directly to my right, I'll just pass it to Lacey Canart, and then you can choose someone to pass it to, Lacey, and we can go around like that.
Wonderful. Thanks, Sam. Uju, Makwodekwe, Indigenous. My name is Lacey Canart, Bare-Hearted Woman. I am Sault Ste. Marie Ojibwe from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and I currently live in Minnesota now, Minneapolis, Twin Cities area. I am NABS's programs coordinator, and my role with the Oral History Project is coordinating the site logistics, make sure things run smoothly, that everybody's taken care of. My name and Bear Clan is my duty, is my medicine to make sure everybody is good and well taken care of, including survivors on this journey. So that will be my role. I look forward to seeing you all in Oklahoma City. And just a little bit about me, my grandma went to Indian boarding school and she went to a Catholic grand school, and um, it very much impacted her, which impacted my mom, which impacted me. So that's why I chose to be part of this work at NABS. So it's more than just a job, and I'm grateful to be part of this project. Thank you so much. Let's pass it to Meg.
Yeah, hey, welcome everybody. Charles, Kim, Alicia, Latoya, thank you so much for coming. My name is Meg Singer. I'm a citizen of the Navajo Nation. I live in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I work as the Director of Community Impact for NABS. And I will be in Oklahoma, and I get to be doing the fun stuff, which is welcoming our boarding school survivors when they get to the hotel, making sure that they can find the spot, making sure that they're taken care of. I'm really excited for that. So thank you so much for being here. I'm going to turn it to Moki.
Abadakayapi, Moki Berigo, Amachiapelo, Oglala Lakota Hemachia. My name is Moki Berigo. I'm from Pine Ridge Indian Reservation of South Dakota. My family is from the Wounded Knee community. And well, I'm one of the oral historians for this oral history project. So what I'll be doing is reaching out directly with the elders that we're speaking to, the ones who are going to be sharing with us, and myself and two other historians here, Hankashi Charlie and Kukum Denise, we're going to be the ones who are talking directly with them. So yeah, that's our job to make those good connections. And a little bit about myself. It's important to me as well. My father went to boarding school as well as my grandmother. I would have really liked to record my father's stories when he was still around. So I want to help others do that. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Kuko, Denise.
Mingwit Moki. Kujunin. Wabanung, Equa Dijanakaz, Shijak Nadodame, Nikanakwaju, Nandunjiba. My home is the Turtle Mountain Band of Ojibwe, and we are in North Dakota on the north central border of North Dakota, right on the Canadian border. My tribal name is Morningstar Woman, and I am was hired in January as one of the 3 oral historians. So I'll be recording your stories there in Oklahoma. I worked as a professor for many years, and I also I've been recording boarding school elders and survivor stories for over 10 years, and it was part of a book that I wrote called Stringing Rosaries. So looking forward to seeing everybody in Oklahoma City. My parents, both my parents and all of my grandparents attended boarding school here in North Dakota, and also in South Dakota. And my father was sent from here in North Dakota to Chemawa, Oregon. So I was fortunate that through the years, I got to interview my grandfathers in the 1980s when they were in their mid 80s, and also my parents and grandparents before they passed on. So this work is very important to me, and to all the survivors. As the people I interviewed said, they said, please tell the world what happened to us. So that's what we are doing here at NABS, and what we'll be doing in the important work in Oklahoma City. How Mingwich and Charlie.
How Miigwech, Denise. Ani Bojo and Denoe Maganadok. Hello, relatives. Nimida Migizikwe Indigenakaz, Ajijak and Dodem, Mako Dedeman, Bawating, Minwa, Nopaming, and Donjaba. Hi, everybody. My spirit is Dancing Eagle Woman. I am from Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and Hessel, Michigan. And I am an enrolled member of the Sault Ste. Marie tribe of Chippewa Indians. And I want to apologize for keeping my camera off today. I'm actually traveling on the road. So, but I look forward to meeting everybody in Oklahoma City next week. I am also one of the historians, so I will be gathering stories and reaching out to our community members, our relatives, to make those connections and build those relationships for our survivors who want to share their testimony. So that's my role and what I'll be doing with NABS. And just a little bit of my background. My mother and I've had some uncles and cousins who have attended boarding school, a Catholic-run boarding school. And so this work is intimately important to me because I know how it's affected my family and many others as well. So I'm very happy to be in this place and working with everybody here to do this good work. And so with that, I will pass it over to Fallon.
Hello, everybody. My name is Fallon Carey, and I am the Digital Archives Assistant here at NABS. I am originally from Oklahoma. If you're familiar with the Tahlequah area, I'm just outside on 3 Mile Road. I also split time in Tulsa as well and lived there for about 10 years. So I currently live in Minneapolis, and I guess a little bit more about my background is I am Cherokee. And my great grandmother actually attended Chilocco. And so I think I kind of echo everybody's feelings that this work is very personal to me as well. And I'm very humbled to be here today. And my role in Oklahoma will be just support. So really supporting our team and supporting survivors and their families who come in really with whatever needs to be done, anything that anybody needs help with, I'll be there. So I look forward to seeing you all, and I will pass it to Iku.
Thanks. Oki Nistuni Taniku Ikutsimi Skimaki Beck. Hi, I'm Iku Beck. I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator with NABS. I'm Blackfeet and Red River Métis and enrolled in the Little Shell Chippewa tribe of Montana. I'm not going to be in Oklahoma, but I have been in Oklahoma before, so it's good to see you again, Augustina and Vanessa, or at least see your names. And I'll be supporting from afar and excited to have this project happening and have these folks here. I'll pass it to Arlen.
Yade, Shea, Arlen Yazi, and Shea, Natawatanad, Hachini Nishle, Hashiam Bashishtin, Chishidashe, Dokilitini additional. Hi everyone, so I'm Arlen Yazi. I'm an enrolled citizen of the Navajo Nation. I, just like you, who will not be in Oklahoma, but I will be housing, doing a lot of just the background work of making sure that things are running. I'm just very happy that everyone was able to join us today. And I will pass it over to Joe.
Sorry, trying to forgive me. I'm trying to so I've been trying to learn some of my language and kind of get my intro going. So just bear with me. I'm trying to do my best here. Marwika Naniatsa Joseph Tatanipa Minneapolis, Minnesota, Nai Nakimata Nase Namana Ne Not Namanatsa Tatanipa Dasa Manatachi Sa Na Nasuka Sikataivan. Sorry about that. I just trying to get back, kind of connect with my roots and learn my language. But basically, I'm an enrolled member of the Comanche tribe. What I said was that I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota. My families, my Comanche families are the Tatanipas and the Monotachis. And then I'm happy to be here and talk with everybody today. I'm a research assistant at NABS, and I've been with NABS for probably about 8 months, I think. And so I'm going to be part of the OHP site visit in Oklahoma City. And my role there is support staff. So, I'll be kind of helping with setup and, maybe escorting folks to and where they need to go. Just various responsibilities that support staff would engage in. Just a little bit about me. My family's from Oklahoma, but I grew up in Minnesota. I'm a descendant of boarding school survivors of Fort Sill Indian School and Chilocco Industrial School. So, all of us here really understand the importance of this work that we're doing, and so I'm really looking forward to the site visit. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and pass it to Sandy.
Oh, Hihani Washte, good day, everyone. Everyone has to clear their throat at some point, Joe, so don't feel bad. My name is Sandy Whitehawk, Lakota Miacho Katanajiwia, Sichango Lakota Hemataha. I am from the Rosebud Reservation in South Dakota. My spiritual name is Chokatanajiwia, stands in the center woman. I'm so excited to be here today to see our Oklahoma relatives who are on the call with us. My background is I've done a little bit of everything. Now I know why it took so long for elders, not that I'm an elder yet, but to say their background of all of the things you've done. The highlights are I'm a Navy veteran. I worked at a college as a Native American student advisor, and I've been an Indian child welfare consultant for the last 20 plus years. And my focus has been on adoption because I was taken away when I was 18 months old. And it's a longer story, but I didn't plan to do this work. But here I am working with helping our relatives return to their homelands and using our experiences as a way to educate those who are working in child welfare. My mother was the oldest of 20 children, and all of them had either been in boarding school and or were adopted out or grew up in foster care. So we've been greatly impacted as everyone else by boarding school. And I recall my relatives as I was getting to know them when I went home in 1988. I would go home a couple times a year, and they would always tell me stories, and that's where my original education began. About the separation, that it seemed that we couldn't, and then I learned that we couldn't talk about Indian child welfare unless we first talked about boarding school and what it did to our families and our communities. So it's with, as each meeting that I have, I think about my uncles who were the first to tell me these stories. And I'm so grateful for them and so grateful for their willingness to share. And I have one uncle left and 3 aunts left who all have been impacted. And as they in their elder years, they're starting to share more and more. My brother was in boarding school, and I'm not even asking them. It just said, I've been thinking the other day, and they start. So the time is now for this healing. So thank you for allowing us into your homeland, into your territory. We will take very good care of your relatives while they're with us. My role is I'm the elder in residence at NABS, and my role there will be providing spiritual and emotional support to everyone.
Tlasakamati Sandy and all of our staff. It's my honor to introduce also our Chief Executive Officer who's on the call with us today, Deborah Parker from the Tulalip Tribes. I'll hand it off to you, Deb.
Tigwitsi, Dr. Torres, Haslahel, good afternoon, everyone. Sitsai Otsa Sitsta, Twelchuf, Doflelap, Lami, Apache, Yaki, Esjalchat. Hoping you are doing well. I come from the land of the Stohopsh people. I live in my grandmother's territorial area, her traditional lands of the Stohopsh and the Kikialis people on the coast of the Coast Salish waters in Washington State. And so it's an extreme honor to be with you today, to just share a greetings and a deep gratitude for you joining our oral history project. And it's so good to see our team. We've assembled the most loving, compassionate, brilliant team to work with our relatives across the nation, starting in Oklahoma. So we are in deep prayer, woke up this morning in deep prayer, just asking for strength for our relatives to go on to the traditional lands of the indigenous peoples of Oklahoma. And I have some dear friends and relatives there. So we know when these doors are open that we want to make sure we take great care of the relatives there, but also honor the spirits of the people, the ancestors, and the relatives who reside on those sacred lands. So we hope to come in a good way and to be good listeners and good partners, and to leave with hopefully we can ignite some happy, some joy, some peace within the people of the lands in Oklahoma. And So that's our hope, and we know that truth telling is so important, and we hope that through that truth, they'll bring some healing to those who are sharing maybe for the first time. So I know a lot of great care and love has gone into this work to this point, and I know our staff is extremely excited to begin this journey, and I know ultimately that our spirit will fill in those gaps of what we need. And so you all are in good hands, and it's just an honor to serve. And I know that I've asked my relatives from the people of the Tulalip tribes and our ancestors to bless you and to keep you strong. And I know that my relatives who went to the Tulalip boarding school here, I ask for those higher beings to come and protect and to watch over each and every one of you. So Tikwitsid Haichkasiem, thank you, dear relatives. And I'll turn it over back over to Dr. Torres. And I might have to go on and off, and I apologize, I won't be able to join you. I'll be in Washington, D.C. We have probably one of the most important bills of our lifetime to pass, which is the Truth and Healing bills, Senate Bill 1723 and HR 7227. So next week we'll both groups will be doing important work across the country. So thank you.
Lasso Kamati Sitsayaltsa, thank you so much, Deb, and the rest of our staff, our entire staff, for those beautiful introductions. It is quite clear every time we get a chance to do this type of circle and share a little bit about ourselves, I remain deeply inspired and ever motivated that we are always surrounded by good relatives, particularly in this time. So thank you for that. I want to pause right now. If we can pause the recording, we'll have Delia. Thank you, Moki, for honoring us with that song. As we continue our discussion, I just want to share a little bit about NABS, the Healing Coalition in general. We're a 501c3 national nonprofit dedicated to uncovering and exploring the intergenerational trauma, the legacy of intergenerational trauma as conducted by the Indian boarding school federal policies. And so as such, our programming and our operation is anchored by three main pillars of truth, justice, and healing. And it is our honor to be able to be with you today to discuss the details of the Oral History Project, as well as some of the other programmatic efforts and initiatives that we have. Our CEO, Deb Parker, shared a little bit about our policy and advocacy initiatives with our Truth and Healing Commission bill in both the Senate and the House, Senate Bill 1723 and House Resolution HR I just missed. I just had a mind blank. 7227. There we go. So in addition to that, we have a very strong research and digital archives arm and effort to again uncover the often under-examined histories and stories of our relatives that endured boarding schools from even before the 1800s and through the 21st century. So what we are here to discuss and eager to talk about is our work to move throughout each region of Indian country and to be with relatives, to visit with them, to sit with the lived experiences, to document a national oral history program, an unprecedented program that has never been created to this scope before. This is a program that is a part of the Department of the Interior, part of the Department of the Interior's Federal Indian Boarding School Initiative. So this initiative in specific would not be possible without their support, without this grant funding, And we're grateful to be in community and collaboration with the Interior Department. And as such, we will continue our work to document this National Oral History Program. I want to also make a clear distinction that we also have we recognize that not everybody is in the interest of having their lived experiences documented in such a publicly accessible way. This initiative is for the purpose of having lived experiences be documented for the purpose of being publicly accessible. Similar to how we have seen collections documented for Japanese internment camp survivors, as well as veterans of war. So we are also in the position of being able to advocate on behalf of boarding school survivors that are not interested in having their stories be publicly accessible. But this project is one of those programs that we are, of course, documenting for the purpose of educating the general public, of being able to be accessed for generations to follow, so that these atrocities are learned from and never occur again. So this is a 2-year project timeline. We are seeking to visit approximately 20 different regions throughout the country, but we are so eager to be with you all, to do this work, to be in community together in Oklahoma City for the month of March. As such, I want to share in the chat right now some important links for signing up. If there are folks in your life or you yourselves are interested in participating in this, you can visit our website at boardingschoolhealing.org/oral-history-project. And then we'll put a sign up form also directly in the chat link. It's a little bit longer than to read out, so we'll just put it right there. Right off the top, I want to go ahead and offer the mic to our lead oral historian, or the oral historian lead, Charlie Brissett, who can help share a little bit more about our approach to working directly with elders for the purposes of documenting these lived experiences for the oral history program. And they'll tell us a little bit more about what our pointed approach is for the care of boarding school survivors, both before we even arrive and then well after, when we continue to be in community together. So Charlie, I'd like to invite you to share a little bit about that.
Yeah, miigwech, Sam. So part of our process is, well, the first thing is that we remember that this project is really happening because of the stories of our survivors. So our survivors are at the center of this project, and we want to keep that in mind, and keep in mind the sacred space that we hold for our survivors while doing this work that we're doing. So with that, when we receive contact information, when we receive interest via the form on the webpage, or because somebody expressed interest in being interviewed, we start by assigning them to one of our historians, because we want our historians to be the ones to make that initial contact and start building that relationship with our survivors. And so we start with outreach via phone or email. We start with building that relationship by making the first connection with our historians. And then we want to schedule a preliminary phone call where we answer any questions that may be had. We share some of the interview questions so that our survivors and our relatives can become familiar with the interview process. And we share a little bit about what the day is going to look like over the phone in that initial phone call. And then from there, we schedule the in-person interview for our site visit. So we've got our interviews taking place on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week. So we'll have our survivors scheduled for time slots, specifically scheduled for those 3 days. And then from there, we have a follow-up process. We'll be following up with our survivors to make sure that they are being taken care of, that they have support in place, and we'll also have support available at Oklahoma City at the Suburban Hotel upon completion of the interview. We'll have spiritual helpers in place, support staff, things like that. So it's really important to us to keep our survivors at the center of the artwork that we're doing here. And yeah, with that, I'm going to hand it over to Lacey to share anything that I may be leaving out right now.
Sure, miigwech, thanks, Charlie. So what does that day or what does the week look like while we're there? We do want to start out this project in a good way by starting out the week with on Monday with a ceremony and a feast. So it'd be a dinner where the community members and survivors can come together to share a meal together, kind of have a relaxed, intimate environment. It'll be on the same floor where we will be doing interviews the following 3 days, and then having the ceremony be dedicated to the culture where we will be at. So because we're visiting 20 different states, it's going to look 20 different ways of what our opening ceremony looks like and closing ceremony. But in Oklahoma, we're working closely with the tribal leaders there and having people that are cultural to the land that we're on. So we would like, if you are interested in attending the ceremony / dinner, and then on Friday, it will be a lunch. We do ask that you RSVP just so we know what to plan for. The dinner on Monday night is going to be a barbecue buffet, and then lunch on Friday will be I believe it's a turkey wrap lunch with salad and cookies and things like that. So we want to start it and end it in a good way in support of the community. And then when you do come for the interviews, you will be assigned to your one oral historian who will be the main contact the whole project. So even in the follow-up, you're still dealing with the same person who you're building that relationship with. So you're not bounced around to different people within NABS. And then at the end of your interview, to thank you for your time and to opening up to us and sharing your story, we do want to give a gift in return, which is a cash honorarium as well as a care package that includes items that are made by Native artists and come from Native organizations. So that will be given in the same day at the end of your interview. And at the end of the interview, we also have opportunity and built in the schedule to deal or to sit and kind of debrief or just breathe and with Sandy. We have a separate room for that. And smudging, if that's what you are comfortable with, before and after. And then there's going to be snacks and things like that available throughout the day. But just doing this in a good way where the survivors and the families feel very comfortable. And for the survivors that are coming, we encourage to bring a caretaker with you, a loved one with you, so that you're not there alone. You can bring someone with you. When we were in Tulalip, some people brought a couple people, so whatever your support system looks like, feel free to invite them. They can be in the room with you if you would like, or they can stay in our welcome room, which is a very comfortable area while you're in your interview. It's really up to you. And then the interview itself is going to be about 90 minutes, but we block time off for paperwork beforehand, the interview, and then the follow-up. So we're not in a rush, and we just want to make you feel comfortable and safe. And if there's any questions, we would love to hear them. We want to ease anybody's mind about this or clear anything up. So I believe that's what I have to talk about. I'll pass it back to Sam, and then I think we'll be asking if there are any questions.
Thank you, Lacey and Charlie. Tlasokamati. I think it's just really important to share also that the approach that we're seeking here, we're not following a university model. We're not following the model of the government. We are collaborating and collectively bringing together both best practices and traditionally grounded approaches to best take care of our relatives, holding space for them, holding space for this circle, this container, knowing that we are all doing this together, taking care of ourselves, as we know that as helpers and good relatives, that we cannot take care of each other if we don't take care of ourselves. And so as such, there will always be some strong encouragement and reminders of our relations when we are here together. Our process is a deliberately indigenously guided one. And so when we carry out this work together, we hope that you will be able to be encouraged and guided by our relations, our intent to walk with you. There will always be opportunities for us to slow down, to say, I'm not ready to do this just yet, or I need to take a break. I need some water, or I'm done. And we will respond by supporting all of with whatever is requested. So we will walk folks through the informed consent process well before the interview, making sure that everyone understands what is being authorized and signed for, and participants will have the opportunity to speak with our oral historians in a pre-interview process to review what some of those questions might be, what some of those questions will be, and if there are any follow-up concerns or feedback, to be able to take care of that before the interview. So with that, we want to open this up for questions. If there are questions that you might have, we would invite you to raise your hand, unmute yourself, put it in the chat. Please introduce yourself before, but we're eager to be here in service and response to those inquiries you might have.
Let's turn it to Drusilla. You posted 2 questions in the chat that we answered in the chat, but let's answer them. But is there agenda that can be sent out? And we posted our agenda. You can also find that on our social media. We will also send it to you. As long as you signed up, we can get that to you. And then also, Drusilla, can people just show up to be interviewed? And then Lacey responded, we do need people to sign up to be interviewed. There's a process of making sure that, you know, we have as much care as possible before they get to the interview. So we want to make sure that that is in place. The link is in the chat. Drusilla, would you mind introducing yourself to us? Those were 2 really great questions. Thank you. Let's see. I don't think we can hear you, but you want to, you are unmuted though. Mm. All right. I don't know if we can get connected with her, but thank you so much for those. Oh. Shoot. Okay.
While we're trying to get Drusilla
We'll get her
on the line, I'll just go ahead and add that if the link is a burden, it can be as simple as signing up by giving us a call, and we can walk folks through and fill out that process for them. We don't want any of these structures to be cumbersome or an obstacle. So signing up and being a part of this process can be as simple as really just giving us a phone call, and we can walk folks through that process. So thank you, Drusilla, for those questions. And it's important for us that we do want to walk folks through that informed consent process beforehand. We do want to share with elders what those questions that we intend to cover throughout that process before we actually get into documenting the visit. Well,
we have
thank
a
you, Drusilla.
question. Yeah, thank you. And sorry you can't get your mic to work. We will connect with you somehow. But we have another 2 questions with Dr. Farina King. Thank you. Where will the oral histories be stored or preserved, and how are they going to be accessible or not? And then also, will there be consent forms, which you just talked about, and can people see those ahead of time?
Yeah, so the reason why we want to be able to have a communication and a pre-interview process with folks before the site visit itself is so that we can entertain any questions or concerns about the informed consent. There will be, multiple options for consideration, and if it's determined that this is not the interview for the participants that are eager to be a part of this process, then we will be very upfront. We'll say that maybe this is not the time or the timeline for your involvement at this point, and that will be okay. We always can return in short time, in short order, and be responsive to the needs of folks that are interested in documenting for other purposes. Dr. King, it is good to see you. Thank you for joining us today, and your questions are very, very important. To your first question, where the oral histories will be stored and preserved, as a collaborative engagement with the Interior Department, this portion of the project will be in the hands of the Interior, where they are going to determine where they are going to be preserved finally, whether it be at a national museum, the Library of Congress, perhaps another repository. But the initiative's priority is to ensure that these are publicly accessible, and that no administration, no agency has the ability to just take them down for any means. So it's the intention of the Interior to make sure that this is a national oral history collection of Indian boarding school survivors that is in the public's availability once the collection is completed. And those decisions have not been made final yet, but they are in the authority, of course, of the Interior, and is something that everybody is very much concerned about, making sure that it is preserved and that it is out there, and that there is very little possibility for it to be able to be removed or taken down. We know that the importance of this is to be honored, but also preserved.
And Dr. Farina, can you had one last question about the opening and closing ceremonies? Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
kind of like yat a Bilagana Nishle, Dokia Ani Bashushchin, Bilagana Dashache, Dosinijani Dashanole, Akot Egot Sat Nishle, Farina King Yanishye, University of Wisconsin de Inishta. And I work at the University of Oklahoma. My name's Farina King. My mother is white American, and I'm born for a towering house and Blackstreet Woods people clans of Dene. I'm a citizen in Navajo Nation. I live in Norman, and in the home of 39 Native nations, and I'm the interim department chair of Native American Studies at the University of Oklahoma. And I'm working on a project of collaborating with different universities and Native nations with what kind of, with all the different primary source materials out there, including oral histories, a number of, oral histories, as you're aware, at Oklahoma State University, or these different depositories like the Western History Collection at OU. What becomes of them? What kind of teaching materials are developed out of from them? And I'm also a descendant. My father was a boarding school. He is a boarding school survivor, and my grandmother, my grandparents, my cousins, many of my family. So I've written mainly from their experiences of my Dene relatives, and especially my father. And I work with students, many Native students, of course, from Oklahoma, 39 Native nations, who are delving into their own family stories and the impacts on them. So yeah, of course, I have a lot of questions. I don't want to dominate, but I'm in the area, and so are a lot of connections with me. And so I wonder when those ceremonies will be that are open to the public. And I also was curious to what degree you all are working with the 39 Native nations. If it is, Oklahoma City is a hub of many nations and people, and the communities who live there, but the accessibility to a lot of our rural communities that are further out, how transportation might be accommodated, if at all. I heard like there's ways people can be supported in coming, but just would be helpful to hear a little more about that. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Farina, and appreciate you being with us today. Lacey, you want to share a little bit? Can you share a little bit about what we're able to support survivors with respect to what we've arranged so far? We certainly don't want travel or to be a burden or to be something that prevents folks from being able to attend this. I'm sorry, Lacey, I know I've asked you to chime in, so I'll go ahead and respond to one of the questions, and then I'll bring you in because I know you've been working with some of those logistical arrangements. But we have made direct contact with every single tribal nation, tribal leaders from every nation, 39 tribes within Oklahoma, and are working with several tribal leaders directly to help galvanize some support and to make sure that folks throughout the lands of Oklahoma are aware of this project and are able to, if desired, be able to come out and be a part of this this historic project. So, in each region, we know the obstacles are going to be there with respect to logistics. We certainly don't want those to be the reason why folks can't come out. Throughout the project, there will also be opportunities for potential return visits as well as remote recording opportunities. Certainly, they might not be video recordings, but audio recordings are something that we're also interested in. It is one of those, I think, secondary kind of approaches to documentation, because the video, there's no replication for the video. So we're really trying to make sure that folks have what they need to be able to get out to the site visit itself. And of course, we are, within the means that we have, we are trying to make sure that folks are taken care of, so that they have what they need to be able to be in this space while they're being able to visit with us. And I'll offer, again, Lacey, an opportunity to respond to some of that.
Thank you, Sam. Okay, so we are also working with the United Indian Nations of Oklahoma, and Margot Gray is the executive director of that, so she's connecting us for that. But it is open to the public. I'm not sure if you came in when I shared the link to RSVP for that. It is going to be a smaller, intimate setting where we're planning for 50 or under, and we did ask that media and journalists not be part of that group, just out of safety and protection of our survivors. And but if it's tribal media, that's a little different, and we just have some guidelines that they would have to follow. But the date and the time is all that we've shared so far. If you want more information, we can work with you on what that nightly agenda looks like. So hopefully that answers your questions. And then I can put my email in the chat if there are any follow-up questions, or if you want more of a discussion one-on-one, that would be great. We would welcome that. I see another question. Is there a group rate for the hotel? So Charles, if you're interested in a hotel room, please let us know that. We don't have a group rate, but we do have a very small block for survivors that may need a hotel room. So just work with either your oral historian on that and let them know, or if you're not signed up yet, when you do get signed up, to let them know that that's part of the part of your care to get you there. So we don't, like Sam said, we don't want the distance to be a barrier. I know Oklahoma is a very big state, and coming from a lot of rural areas, and traveling that much in one day is a lot to ask. So just let us know what your needs are, and we can do our best to help accommodate that.
Thank you for that, Lacey. I think that, yeah, exactly right. The short answer is please just give us a call and we'll work with you and we'll figure out a way to be able to get things sorted. And another reason, and Lacey kind of alluded to this a little bit about, media and journalists. One of the reasons why we have not um, created a huge effort to publicly release the location, the date, the time exactly is, as a national nonprofit, we have a pretty wide reach and we don't want to attract outside attention too much, more so than we need to. And essentially, we want to make sure that we're keeping this grounded, that the folks that need to be there are there, and that it is a disproportionate presence of folks that are perhaps with best intentions wanting to show up and support or be a part of it or document it. We'd want to avoid those types of things. And so really the best way is to get in touch with us through some of the various channels, either the sign up form, phone number, the email address. And so if you reach out to us, we of course, in our outreach of tribal leaders, we shared all of the specific information and details as they are, with the exact address, with the exact times and agenda, because we want folks that are within their nations, their tribal citizens, to be able to be a part of this and centering those individuals and nations, as these are the lands that we're visiting.
We have no more questions, and we're closing in on our hour.
Oh, we have a question here from, it looks like Didi Salazar.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm from the Chickasaw. I'm oral historian for the Chickasaw Nation. But was there any other tribal official within the Chickasaw Nation that y'all reached out to that I may connect with?
Yeah, there is. I'm gonna have to go through our email sent box, because yes, we've reached out to a lot of folks, but Didi, we'll connect you with who we've reached out to so that we can close that circle for sure. We'd love to bring you into that.
Well, I've received an email. I'm at drusilla.salazar@chickasaw.net. And if you'll just email me that.
Yeah, we can do that. Of course. We'll follow up with you for sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for your questions. Okay, Sam, back to you.
All right. Well, one last call for questions if there are any. Otherwise, we can move to close. And Deb, if you're there, I would love to invite you just to share, any last words and close us out. All right. Well, I'd like to invite then Sandy to share some words with us and perhaps close us out for the day. We'd be very honored to hear some of your words at this time. Laskomati, Sandy.
Wopila for trusting me to say a few words. As I was listening to all the agenda, the attention that we're giving to our relatives who will be sharing, we're all taking, each and every one of you are taking part in a great healing energy that is starting here and will be on site, and the relatives who we interact with will be taking that home with them. I was thinking about all the care that we're giving to make sure our relatives know everything, that they can stop, they can start, I mean, and whatever it is that they need. It's so opposite of how they were treated when they were children. That is what's healing. Giving them that nurturing energy in that very area that was hurt. And that it's coming from our relatives from across Turtle Island is also creates that community that we are wanting to acknowledge and to experience. So thank you, Oklahoma, for allowing us to come to your territory. Thank you for trusting us with your relatives. We will take utmost care and respect of them. And just thank you for all the work that you're doing to bring healing to our precious relatives who have endured a lot, who put it down, who put a lid on it, who did what they could to give us life. I think of my dear mother, who I should not have been taken from her. And I think of all the relatives across Turtle Island who such grave injustice is done to them. And here we are exposing those truths. And let's remember that the truth can't be changed, but the truth changes people. And when people that are supposed to be part of this moving forward in the area of policy and in the area of using their skill and their talent to help with healing will hear this. So it's with great, I'm really I pinch myself every now and then that I'm here and part of this. And each and every one of you give me that strength that we are all in the right place. The healing truly is now. The time for it is now.
Lasukamati Walmiak. Sandy, thank you for your words, as always. Well, with that, we are always available to be in communication and contact with you. So please do not hesitate to reach out to us directly. We are here for you. We are eager to be in community with you, to share this space and time and visit. And we look forward to building these relationships and continuing this journey with you. Thank you for having us in this time. Thank you for having us when we do come and visit. And we will be eagerly awaiting and in prayer and in reflection in preparation for this. So again, thank you for joining us today. Those that are on the call right now and those that will be listening to this once it's posted, we give you warm greetings and we look forward to seeing you. Asokamati. Timoy Taske. We'll see you soon. Take care.